Welcome to Elder Zen. Hit subscribe for simple health tips made just for seniors. Stay tuned. Your next great day starts here. Have you ever woken up thirsty in the middle of the night, your mouth dry, reaching for that glass of water by your bedside? Or perhaps you finished a busy day, realized you forgot to drink much, and felt that familiar heaviness in your head or an ache in your legs. We've all heard how important it is to drink enough water, especially as we get older. But what if I told you that staying hydrated isn't just about quenching your thirst, keeping your skin healthy, or avoiding muscle cramps? What if there was a deeper, invisible risk hiding just beneath the surface, one that could actually threaten your life if left ignored? Today, I want to bring you into a conversation that's rarely talked about, but could be the key to protecting your health, your independence, and your future. We're going to uncover the surprising link between dehydration and a very serious medical condition called pulmonary embolism, a blood clot in the lungs that can develop silently, often without warning, and is especially dangerous for seniors. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I drink water when I'm thirsty. Isn't that enough? But here's the reality. As we age, our sense of thirst weakens. Our bodies don't send the same urgent signals they did when we were younger. Sometimes, by the time you feel truly thirsty, you're already mildly dehydrated. Add in medications that flush fluid from your system, chronic health problems, hot weather, or simply forgetting to keep that glass filled, and you might be walking around each day with less water in your system than your body actually needs. But why does this matter so much? Why are doctors, nurses, and health educators so focused on the simple act of drinking water, especially for people over 60? Here's why. Dehydration doesn't just make you uncomfortable. It changes the very nature of your blood. Without enough fluid, your blood thickens, flowing more slowly and increasing the risk that tiny clots could form. Most of the time, your body handles these clots, dissolving them before they cause trouble. But sometimes, especially in seniors with other health risks or during periods of long inactivity, one of these clots can break free, travel through your bloodstream, and lodge itself in your lungs, a situation known as pulmonary embolism, or PE. The numbers are sobering. Each year, tens of thousands of older adults are hospitalized with blood clots, many of which started with a simple, preventable cause: not drinking enough water. And the scary part, pulmonary embolism often comes on quietly, with symptoms so vague like a bit of swelling in one leg, sudden shortness of breath, or mild chest discomfort that they're often dismissed as just getting older or probably nothing. But when left untreated, a PE can be deadly, cutting off oxygen to your heart and brain within minutes. So as you settle in to watch this video, I encourage you, grab a glass of water. Really, keep it beside you as we talk, because today's conversation is more than just a health lecture. It's a practical guide for every senior, every caregiver, and every family who wants to stay one step ahead of hidden risks. We'll break down the science of dehydration and blood clots in simple, everyday language, no medical degree required. We'll hear real-life stories from seniors who learn this lesson the hard way. And we'll share easy, actionable steps you can take right now to protect yourself and those you love. Whether you live alone, spend time in hospitals or care facilities, travel often, or just enjoy quiet afternoons in your favorite chair, this knowledge is for you. Most importantly, we'll answer the question on everyone's mind. Can simply forgetting to drink enough water actually cause a life-threatening pulmonary embolism? And if so, what are the warning signs you need to watch for? What habits should become part of your daily routine? And how can you make staying hydrated feel effortless, even on busy days? The answers may surprise you, and they may just save your life. So, are you ready to learn how something as simple as water can become your best friend in the fight against blood clots and pulmonary embolism? Stay with me. Whether you're here for yourself, for a parent or grandparent, or just out of curiosity, I promise you'll walk away with knowledge confidence, and a renewed commitment to taking care of your incredible, hard-working body. Let's begin this journey together, one sip, one story, one step toward better health at a time. Let's dive deeper into the heart of the matter. Why does something as simple as dehydration, just not drinking enough water, have the potential to set off a chain reaction inside your body that could end in a pulmonary embolism? To answer this, let's take a closer look at what's happening beneath the surface, in the parts of your body you can't see but depend on every day. First, it's important to remember that your blood is about half water. When you're well hydrated, your blood flows easily, carrying oxygen and nutrients to every cell, helping to sweep away waste and keeping your entire body running smoothly. But when you're dehydrated even a little, your blood thickens. Think of it like soup simmering on the stove. If you forget to add water, it becomes too thick, slow to move, and more likely to burn or stick in your veins. This stickiness increases the risk that blood cells will clump together and form tiny clots. Now, for most younger adults, the body can handle a little dehydration. But as we get older, things change. Our veins may not be as flexible, our circulation might slow, and we're more likely to take medications like diuretics for blood pressure or water pills for heart failure. That can pull extra fluid from our bodies. This is why doctors are always reminding seniors to keep sipping throughout the day, not just when you feel thirsty. Let's make this more real with a story. Imagine Mary, a 76-year-old who loves gardening. On a hot summer day, she's out pulling weeds, enjoying the sunshine, but forgetting to drink water. By late afternoon, she feels a little dizzy and notices her legs are tired and achy. She goes inside, sits down to rest, and still doesn't drink much. That night, she wakes up with a cramp in her calf and thinks it's just from kneeling in the dirt. But over the next few days, the ache lingers and her ankle swells. She shrugs it off until, suddenly, she can't catch her breath while walking to the mailbox. At the ER, doctors discover a blood clot has traveled to her lung, a pulmonary embolism. Stories like Mary's aren't rare. They're a wake-up call for all of us. Dehydration isn't just uncomfortable, it's a real medical risk, especially for older adults. The danger is often hidden. You might not realize how much fluid you're losing in hot weather, after a long walk, or even while sitting inside with the air conditioner running. Every time you breathe, every time you sweat, even when you talk or sleep, you're losing small amounts of water. And if you don't replace it, your body has to make do with less. But it's not just about weather or exercise. Hospital stays, surgery, recovery, and illnesses like stomach bugs or even a simple fever can dehydrate you faster than you think. Seniors recovering from illness often eat and drink less, focusing on rest instead of hydration. That's why doctors and nurses in hospitals are always checking your fluid intake and encouraging you to drink. Even if you don't feel thirsty now, you might wonder how much water is enough. While there's no one-size-fits-all answer, most experts recommend aiming for 6 to 8 glasses a day, more if you're active or it's hot outside. And don't wait for thirst. Make sipping a habit, like brushing your teeth or taking your medication. As you think about your own routine, ask yourself, do I go hours without a drink? Do I rely on coffee or tea, forgetting that these can sometimes dehydrate me even more? Do I notice my urine turning dark or feeling less energetic in the afternoon? These are signs your body needs more fluid. In summary, dehydration quietly changes the way your blood flows and puts you at greater risk for clots that can lead to a pulmonary embolism, a potentially life-threatening condition. But the good news is, this is a risk you can take control of starting today. So as we continue this journey, remember Mary's story and remember that each glass of water is more than a drink. It's a step toward protecting your lungs, your heart, and your independence. Stay with me as we move into the next segment. where we'll explore the warning signs of dehydration and the first clues that a clot could be forming. This is knowledge you'll want to share, not just for yourself, but for every friend and loved one in your life. As we move further into our exploration, let's focus on something that's often overlooked: the early signs that dehydration might be quietly raising your risk of a blood clot, and what your body does to warn you. Too often, these warnings are subtle, easily mistaken for a normal part of aging, a busy day, or just a restless night. But for seniors, learning to recognize these small messages can make all the difference. Let's start with dehydration itself. Sometimes the signs are obvious, like feeling thirsty, having a dry mouth, or noticing your skin is less supple. But for many older adults, the clues are much softer. Maybe you feel tired in the afternoon, have a headache that just won't go away, or your heart seems to race a little after climbing stairs. Perhaps you notice your urine is dark, or you're going to the bathroom less often. Even mild dehydration can slow circulation and make your blood thicker to changes that set the stage for clot formation. Now, let's tie this to the risk of pulmonary embolism. Remember, most blood clots that end up in the lungs start in the deep veins of the legs. That's why it's so important to notice when something just isn't right with your legs. Maybe you're like Frank, a retired school teacher who spent long afternoons working on his stamp collection. One summer, after several days of sitting for hours and drinking mostly coffee, Frank noticed his right calf was swollen, tender, and a little warm. He brushed it off, thinking he just needed to move more. But one morning, he felt short of breath after walking from the kitchen to the living room. His wife convinced him to see the doctor, and he was diagnosed with a deep vein thrombosis, a clot in his leg, before it had a chance to travel to his lungs. Frank's quick action, prompted by listening to his body, may have saved his life. So, what are the subtle signs you should never ignore? Look for swelling, redness, or warmth in one leg, especially if it's new or more pronounced on one side. Notice any unexplained pain or heaviness, or if your leg feels tight even after a good night's sleep. Sometimes the skin may look a bit shiny or change color. If a clot does break off and moves to the lungs, the symptoms can shift quickly. Sudden shortness of breath, chest pain, a rapid heartbeat, or feeling lightheaded. Some people, like Linda, a 73-year-old grandmother, have described it as a sense of deep fatigue, like all the energy drained out at once. It's important to realize that these signs may not all appear at once. They can develop over days or even weeks, especially if dehydration and inactivity go hand in hand. Sometimes, seniors chalk up these changes to just getting older, or blame them on arthritis, medication side effects, or even the weather. That's why awareness matters so much. Another story to highlight. Edith, 81, prided herself on her independence, living alone and tending her small garden every morning. One autumn, she caught a cold and spent a week resting on the couch, drinking tea, but not much else. She noticed her ankles swelling, but thought it was just from being less active. Only when she struggled to catch her breath walking to the mailbox did she realize something was wrong. Her daughter brought her to urgent care, where they found a clot had traveled to her lung. Edith's story shows how quickly things can escalate and how easily small signs can be missed. So, as you go about your day, whether you're traveling, resting, or just enjoying a quiet afternoon, take a moment to listen to your body. Are you drinking enough water? Do your legs feel different than usual? Is there an ache, a heaviness, or a sense of fatigue that's new? These are the moments when being proactive, asking for help, and seeking medical advice can change everything. In our next segment, we'll talk about practical strategies to prevent dehydration and blood clots, even during the busiest days or the longest trips. Because knowledge isn't just power, it's peace of mind, and it's your best tool for staying healthy, safe, and active at every age. Stay with me, and let's continue learning together. Now that we understand the hidden dangers of dehydration and its role in increasing the risk of blood clots, let's turn our attention to what you can actually do starting today to protect yourself. It's not about making huge changes or living in fear. Instead, it's about small, mindful choices and daily habits that help keep your body strong, your blood flowing, and your risk of pulmonary embolism as low as possible. First and foremost, let's talk about water. It sounds simple, but staying hydrated is one of the most powerful steps you can take. Aim to drink water regularly throughout the day, not just when you feel thirsty, because as we age, our thirst mechanism becomes less reliable. A good rule of thumb is to carry a water bottle with you, whether you're gardening, watching TV, or heading out for errands. You might even set a reminder on your phone or leave sticky notes in the kitchen as little nudges to make this advice more tangible. Let's revisit Frank's story. After his health scare, Frank decided to make hydration a family affair. Every morning, he and his wife would fill their favorite tumblers and toast to their health. They made a game of checking the color of their urine. It should be pale yellow. And Frank would joke, "If it's darker than lemonade, it's time for another drink." That small shift not only helped prevent future clots, but made health a shared, positive part of their day. But hydration is just one piece of the puzzle. Movement is just as crucial, especially for seniors who may spend long hours sitting. If you're watching a movie, traveling, or even playing cards, try to stand up and stretch your legs every hour. Standing is hard, simple seated exercises, like pumping your ankles up and down or rolling your shoulders, can keep your blood moving. And don't forget, if you're planning a long trip, wear loose-fitting clothing and consider compression socks if your doctor recommends them. For those who might find these habits difficult, look to Edith's example. After her hospital stay, Edith's daughter bought her a simple kitchen timer and set it to go off every hour. When the bell rang, Edith would take a lap around her living room, refill her water glass, and do a few gentle stretches by the window. Not only did this break up her day, but it gave her a sense of purpose and routine. Her recovery was smoother, and she felt more energetic, proof that small steps add up. Let's also touch on nutrition. Certain foods, like fruits and vegetables, with high water content, think cucumbers, oranges, or watermelon, can supplement your fluid intake. Limiting caffeine and alcohol, which can actually dehydrate you, is also wise. And if you take medications that may increase your risk of dehydration, such as diuretics, talk to your doctor about how much you should be drinking each day. One more thing, keep a symptom diary if you have a history of clots, dehydration, or other risk factors. Note how you feel after periods of inactivity, any changes in your legs or breathing, and whether you're reaching your hydration goals. Sharing this information with your healthcare provider can help catch potential issues early. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every glass of water, every stretch, every walk around the block is a step toward a healthier, safer you. And when these small actions become habits, they don't just protect you, they empower you. Finally, don't hesitate to ask for support. Invite friends or family to join you in a water challenge. Set up a walking group, or simply share your goals. As Frank likes to say, it's easier to stay healthy when you do it together. In the next segment, we'll talk about how to recognize when it's time to seek medical attention and the peace of mind that comes from being prepared. Not just for yourself, but for your loved ones too. Stay tuned, stay proactive, and keep putting your health first, one sip, one step at a time. As we journey deeper into understanding how dehydration can raise the risk of pulmonary embolism, it's crucial to recognize that while prevention is our first line of defense, knowing the warning signs and taking action can save lives, yours or someone you love. Often, the body tries to get our attention, sending signals that something isn't quite right. The challenge is listening closely enough and not brushing those signals aside as just a part of getting older. Let's start with what you might actually notice if a blood clot forms, especially after periods of dehydration or inactivity. For many, the earliest symptoms can be easy to overlook. Take the story of Helen, a retired school teacher who spent most of one summer reading by the window, sipping tea, but forgetting to drink enough water. At first, Helen thought nothing of the dull ache in her left calf, chalking it up to sitting funny or perhaps her arthritis acting up. But as the days went by, the pain got a little worse. Her leg looked slightly swollen, and she felt more tired than usual. One morning, when she tried to walk across the living room, she found herself short of breath, something that had never happened before. Thankfully, Helen's daughter, Emily, had just watched a health video about blood clots and recognized that these small changes could be signs of something serious. Emily encouraged her mom to call the doctor, who quickly sent Helen for an ultrasound. The diagnosis was a deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot in her leg that, if left untreated, could have traveled to her lungs, causing a pulmonary embolism. With prompt treatment, Helen made a full recovery, and both mother and daughter became champions for sharing this knowledge with their friends. So, what should you watch for? Here's a practical checklist. Unexplained swelling in one leg, often below the knee, persistent pain or tenderness in the calf, especially if it worsens over time, a feeling of warmth or redness in the affected area, sudden shortness of breath, chest pain, or rapid heartbeat, particularly after periods of sitting or dehydration, unusual fatigue that doesn't improve with rest if any of these symptoms arise. It's always better to err on the side of caution. Don't try to tough it out or wait and see. If things improve, you experience sudden chest pain, severe shortness of breath, or fainting, call emergency services right away. Remember, when it comes to blood clots, time truly is of the essence. It's also important to communicate clearly when you do seek medical attention. Write down when the symptoms started, what you were doing at the time, and any recent activities, like travel, illness, or unusually long periods of sitting. Mention if you've been less hydrated or have a history of clots or heart problems. These details can help your healthcare provider make a faster, more accurate diagnosis. Another real-life example comes from Bill, a widower who enjoyed gardening, but would often lose track of time outside, sometimes forgetting to bring a water bottle with him. After several days of working under the hot sun, Bill noticed his ankles looked puffy and he was unusually winded walking to his mailbox. He remembered a friend's advice from church. If your legs are swelling and you can't catch your breath, don't wait, get checked. Bill did, and like Helen, was found to have a blood clot. His story inspired others in his community to take dehydration more seriously. Let these stories be a gentle nudge. Listen to your body, trust your instincts, and don't be afraid to speak up. Encourage your loved ones to do the same, and make it a habit to check in with each other, not just about aches and pains, but about hydration, activity, and energy levels. In our next and final segment, we'll pull everything together. How to turn this awareness into lifelong habits, protect your health for years to come, and share the message so no one you care about is caught off guard by the silent danger of dehydration and blood clots. Stay tuned, stay alert, and remember, knowledge shared and acted upon is one of the greatest gifts you can give. As we move toward the end of our discussion on dehydration and its role in pulmonary embolism, let's focus on something practical: how to take everything you've learned today and weave it into your daily life in a way that's easy, sustainable, and actually enjoyable. Because at the end of the day, knowledge means little if we don't put it into practice. And the good news is, even small, thoughtful changes can make a world of difference for your health and peace of mind. Let's start with the basics. Hydration. It sounds almost too simple, but making sure you drink enough water each day is one of the most powerful tools you have against blood clots, fatigue, and so many other health issues. Sometimes life gets busy or we just don't feel thirsty, especially as we get older. But your body still needs that steady supply of fluid to keep your blood flowing smoothly. Maybe you've heard stories like the one from Nancy, a retired librarian who swore by her morning coffee but always forgot about water. After a mild scare with leg pain and a doctor's warning, Nancy set out a bright blue water bottle on her kitchen table as a daily reminder. It soon became a habit, and she noticed not only less swelling in her legs, but better energy and focus throughout the day. Now, beyond just drinking more water, how can you make hydration a natural part of your routine? One tip is to keep water within reach on your nightstand, in your living room, or in a small insulated bottle when you're out gardening or taking a walk. Flavor your water with a slice of lemon or a few berries if plain water isn't appealing. You can also set reminders on your phone or jot notes on your calendar for water breaks, especially if you tend to get caught up in activities like reading or watching television. But hydration is just the start. Regular movement is equally essential, especially if you know you'll be sitting for a while. Try standing up and stretching every hour, even if it's just for a minute or two. Do a few ankle circles or march in place. Maybe invite a friend or family member to join you for a short stroll after lunch or dinner. It's not only good for your body, but it keeps your spirits lifted and your mind engaged. Think of Tom, an 82-year-old grandfather who turned his after-dinner walks into a family tradition. Now, his grandchildren eagerly join him, and the whole family enjoys the benefits of a little more movement and togetherness. It's also smart to plan ahead, especially for travel or hospital stays. If you know you'll be on a long car ride or flight, pack a water bottle and set a goal to stand and stretch every hour. When recovering from an illness or surgery, talk with your healthcare team about strategies to keep moving safely. Perhaps simple leg exercises in bed or short, gentle walks around the house as soon as you're able. Another helpful tip is to create a hydration buddy system, maybe with a neighbor, friend, or spouse. Check in with each other each day. Did you remember your water? Did you move your legs and get a little fresh air? These small shared habits not only help you stay accountable, but also foster deeper connection and support. And let's not forget the value of sharing your experiences. If you've had a scare with dehydration or a blood clot, talk about it with others. You might be surprised how many people have similar concerns or questions. And your story could be the nudge they need to make a positive change in their own routine. Just like Helen, whose journey inspired her bridge group to make water their beverage of choice at every gathering. To sum up, it's about making healthful choices part of your lifestyle tiny daily acts that, over time, build a strong foundation for well-being. By staying hydrated, moving often, and looking out for yourself and others, you turn awareness into action, and action into lifelong safety. Remember, it's never too late to start. Every day is a new opportunity to care for yourself and those you love. So as we close this segment, I encourage you to choose one small change today, and notice how it adds up to a brighter, healthier tomorrow. As we draw nearer to the heart of our conversation, it's important to realize that preventing pulmonary embolism, especially when dehydration is involved, isn't just about following a list of tips or drinking a few extra glasses of water. It's about changing our relationship with our own health, understanding the real-world impact of our daily choices, and seeing those choices add up over time to shape the quality of our lives. Sometimes, the best way to see this is through stories of people who have walked this very path. Let's meet George, a retired school principal in his early 70s. George used to think of water as something you drank only when you were really thirsty. But after a summer road trip to visit his grandchildren, he returned home feeling tired, with an aching leg that he blamed on just too much driving. He brushed it off, but his daughter, Laura, noticed the swelling in his calf during a video call and urged him to see a doctor. Tests revealed a small blood clot, likely made worse by dehydration and hours of sitting. Thankfully, it was caught early and George recovered well. Now, George swears by his travel ritual. Every hour on the road, he stops for a drink of water and a brisk walk around the car. He laughs that his grandkids call him Grandpa Hydration, but he wouldn't change a thing. Stories like George's remind us that health is a journey, not a destination. Each day offers opportunities to build new habits, ones that feel awkward at first, but become second nature with repetition and support. And it's not just about ourselves. Often, our choices quietly teach and inspire the people around us. When neighbors see George walking, they sometimes join him. And soon, a whole community feels the ripple effect of one person's small but powerful change. Another example comes from Linda, a 79-year-old widow who always loved her afternoon tea, but rarely drank water. After being hospitalized for a respiratory infection, Linda struggled to get back into her daily routines. A physical therapist encouraged her to keep a water pitcher on her bedside table and to set a gentle alarm as a reminder to take sips throughout the day. It felt silly at first, but within weeks, Linda noticed her energy returning, her headaches easing, and her confidence growing. She even started calling her daughter at 3 p.m. every day for a hydration check-in. That simple ritual helped them stay connected and gave Linda a sense of purpose during her recovery. What do these stories tell us? First, small changes are powerful, sometimes more than we imagine. Second, accountability, whether through a friend, a family member, or even a supportive community, makes healthy habits easier to stick with. And third, we should never underestimate the difference we can make in our own lives and in the lives of others simply by taking that first step. But even as we learn from these personal stories, it's vital to remember that every person's needs are unique. Some seniors may need to monitor their fluid intake more closely, especially those with certain heart or kidney conditions. That's why regular check-ins with a healthcare provider are essential. Your doctor can help tailor advice to your specific health situation, adjusting recommendations to keep you both hydrated and safe. As you reflect on what you've heard today, ask yourself, what small change can I make right now? Is it keeping a water bottle nearby? Is it stretching my legs during every TV commercial? Or maybe it's calling a loved one for a daily reminder. Whatever you choose, remember that progress doesn't require perfection. It just asks for consistency and a little kindness toward yourself. In closing, these real-life lessons are a testament to the strength, resilience, and adaptability of seniors everywhere. With awareness, support, and practical action, you have the power to protect your health, encourage those around you, and embrace every new day with confidence. Stay tuned as we wrap up with final strategies for building a lifelong routine that keeps you and your community safe, strong, and thriving. Now that we've explored the real-life stories of George and Linda and seen the remarkable difference that simple changes can make, let's focus on something just as important: how to make these healthy choices stick so that they become a natural part of your everyday life, not just a short-lived burst of motivation. Because, as we all know, forming a new habit isn't always easy, especially when old routines feel comfortable and familiar. But the truth is, even the smallest effort, when repeated day after day, can reshape your future in powerful ways. Let's take a closer look at how you can weave healthy habits, like drinking enough water and moving more often, seamlessly into your daily rhythm. And let's draw inspiration from people who've done it before. Consider Evelyn, a retired librarian from Michigan. For years, Evelyn started her mornings with a quiet cup of coffee and a crossword puzzle. But after her doctor warned her about her risk for blood clots, she decided to add a new step to her routine. Every time she finished a puzzle clue, she would stand, stretch, and take a sip of water. At first, it felt forced, but within weeks, she found herself looking forward to those gentle breaks. Not only did her joints feel less stiff, but she even found her memory sharper and her mood brighter throughout the day. What's Evelyn's secret? She made the new habit easy and enjoyable, something she could actually look forward to. For some, pairing a glass of water with a favorite activity, like reading or calling a friend, turns a chore into a treat. For others, setting a gentle reminder on a phone, kitchen timer, or even a sticky note on the fridge does the trick. The key is to find what works for you and to let go of the idea that you have to overhaul your life overnight. Consistency, not perfection, is what builds lasting change. Movement, too, can become a joyful part of your day, even if you're not a fan of traditional exercise. Think about Bob, a 76-year-old grandfather who never liked the idea of working out. Instead, he made it a point to dance to his favorite Motown records every afternoon with his granddaughter. Lily, not only did this get his blood moving and keep his spirits high, but it also created memories that will last a lifetime. Bob often jokes, "The best workout is the one that makes you smile." So as you consider your own routines, ask yourself, where can you slip in a few extra steps, a stretch, or a sip of water? Maybe it's while waiting for your coffee to brew, during commercial breaks on TV, or each time you finish a chapter in your book. Small moments add up, and before you know it, they'll become second nature. And remember, these changes aren't just for your benefit. When friends or family see you making your health a priority, when they see Evelyn stretching, or Bob dancing, or George walking on his road trips, they may feel inspired to join in. Healthy habits are contagious in the best possible way. Finally, don't be afraid to celebrate your progress. Each glass of water, each walk around the block, and each mindful stretch is a victory. Keep track of your achievements in a notebook. Share them with loved ones, or simply take a moment each evening to feel proud of what you're doing for yourself. As we look ahead, let's commit to making hydration and movement joyful, effortless parts of our days. By building habits that fit our lives and personalities, we can all take small, steady steps toward a healthier, more vibrant future. And remember, you're never too old or too set in your ways to make a positive change. The journey to better health starts with one simple step, one glass of water, and the decision to care for yourself every single day. As we come to the end of this important conversation about dehydration and pulmonary embolism, I want you to take a deep breath and give yourself credit for something truly meaningful. You've just invested time and attention into your own well-being, and that's a powerful thing, no matter your age. So often, especially as we get older, we can feel like our best years are behind us, that new habits are too hard to form, or that small changes won't make a difference. But I want to assure you, right now, that every positive action you take, even the tiniest sip of water, even a 2-minute stretch in your living room, matters more than you think. Let's reflect for a moment. Think back to the stories you've just heard of Evelyn in Michigan, building a gentle routine around her crosswords and water breaks, or Bob from Ohio, whose spontaneous dance sessions with his granddaughter not only lifted his spirits, but also kept his body strong and his blood flowing. These stories are more than inspiration, they're living proof that change is possible at any stage, and that joy can be found in the smallest, most ordinary moments of daily life. You don't have to become an athlete or change your entire routine overnight. All you need to do is start. And to start with kindness toward yourself. If you're wondering how to keep up your momentum, remember this. Consistency is more important than intensity. You don't need to drink a gallon of water all at once or walk a mile every day if that's not realistic for you. What counts is the steady drip of effort, the way you fill your glass each morning. Take a stroll after lunch or check in with your body throughout the day. Over time, these habits become part of your identity. You become the person who cares for themselves, who pays attention, who chooses prevention over regret. And here's something truly special when you make these changes. You don't just help yourself, you send a ripple through your family, your neighborhood, your community. You set an example for your children, your grandchildren, and even your friends. You show them that growing older isn't about giving up. about discovering new ways to thrive, to protect your health, and to make the most of every moment you have. Maybe you'll even inspire someone you love, just as Evelyn inspired her. Bridge club? Or as Bob's dancing turned into a family tradition? The small steps you take today may become the legacy that protects and uplifts those around you for years to come. Of course, there will be days when it's hard, when you forget your water bottle, or when you don't feel like getting up to move. That's perfectly normal, and it's okay to have setbacks. What matters is that you come back to yourself with patience, forgive the missed opportunities, and begin again. Every new day is a fresh chance to care for your body and mind. It's never too late to try again. Before we finish, let's talk about the big picture. Pulmonary embolism and dehydration can sound frightening, and yes, they can be dangerous if left unaddressed. But as you've learned, the greatest danger comes from not knowing. From brushing off those subtle signals your body sends, or from believing that these things just happen with age. Knowledge truly is power, and taking a few small, steady actions is the best defense you have. And if you ever feel unsure, remember, you are never alone in this journey. Reach out to your doctor, call a friend for support, or join a local senior center or online group. Ask questions, share your worries. Celebrate your victories. The more we support each other, the safer and stronger we all become. As we close, I want to leave you with one last encouragement. Promise yourself right now to make hydration and movement part of your daily legacy. Make it a point of pride. Maybe you'll start with one extra glass of water today. Maybe you'll stand up and march in place during the next TV commercial. Maybe you'll invite a neighbor for a walk around the block. Whatever your step, take it with the confidence that it matters. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for your trust, your attention, and your commitment to living a life full of energy, health, and connection. Please, if you found this conversation helpful, share it with someone you love. Subscribe for more advice and support, and leave your own tips or stories in the comments below. Your experience could be the light that guides someone else. And finally, always remember, your health is a treasure, and every day you take care of yourself is a gift to both you and those who cherish you. Stay strong, stay hydrated, and keep dancing through life no matter your age. Until next time, be well, be kind to yourself, and keep moving forward.